up, everybody? It's your girl Mika, and you're watching the Red Cup Podcast, where truth, pop culture, and politics meet. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Mika, and we're back for another Red Cup Talks because this is where truth, pop culture, and politics meet. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. It is Thursday, the 29th. I had to check, but it's Thursday, May 29th, and I'm telling you right now, I am exhausted, okay? I spent the weekend through the holiday and all of that, just doing too much. I was outside, okay? Graduations, birthdays, whatever you can think about for the holiday, I did it, okay? Ate too much, did all of that. So I'm sleepy, I'm tired, I have anxiety, I'm all that, but I'm here. We're doing it, okay? What's going on, you guys? What's going on? What's going on, your car? I saw you when you pulled up, okay? You was on time today. You was on time. I'll give you that. What's up, Shane? Thank you as always, you call. What's up, Shane? What's up, Artifacts? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, Tom? All right. See y'all in the building. What's going on, Magna? Okay. Got the music popping. What's going on? Okay, Falafel Bay, what's going on? Y'all are wild in this chat. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What's going on, Trace? What's going on, War Peace? What's going on, you guys? What's going on, Eric, Stephanie? All right, y'all in here. Y'all in here. What's going on? Bad. All right. What's going on, the trail? What's going on, Charles? And if I say your name wrong, just let me know. You know, Spaces had no problem, but I'm gonna still call him Stop by Sir. Okay. All right, you guys. Well, I hope you had a lovely weekend. I hope you guys had a good Memorial Day. All right. And I want to get into a lot of things because a lot of things have happened. I didn't get a chance to go live on Tuesday. I had a couple videos that I put out, but I didn't get a chance to go live on Tuesday. So we're going to talk about some things that, you know, happened over the week, happened today, yesterday. I mean, just a lot. Okay. Like they've been bombarding me with just news, pop culture news, all that good stuff. All right. So you guys, thank you for joining. What's up, Ian? What's up, Qatar? What's up, you guys? I appreciate you all for pulling up. Per usual, gang. All right. Red Cup gang, let's get into it. Here we go. So let's get into our first shots. All right. Shots are our little bit of pour up that we do, you know, when we don't want to spend too much time on it, but we still want to talk about it. Okay. So our first one is we're going to get into MSNBC or MSDNC 13's new lineup having low ratings. All right. Now, you guys know that they got rid of Joyless Reed. Okay. Joyless Reed was like their number one star. All right. But, you know, she became Trump deranged. And I do mean deranged, like deranged. So they got rid of her. So as you guys can see on the screen, okay, the lineup that they replaced Joyless Reed with is now failing. And I wonder why. Why? Why do you think they're failing? Yeah, they're failing because it's the same thing, okay? You traded one bullheaded reasoning for the other, okay? You traded one group of people that were just absolutely nuts for the other. They're all nuts on MSDNC 13. However, they thought this new lineup was going to do better because they had kind of a podcast style, you know, the same kind of style that Abby's jocking right now from all the podcasters. You know, when we have our panel discussions, yeah, they're doing that now on mainstream. Shocker. However, I want to get into that, you guys, because I want to show you the reason why they're failing when you have news like this. Here we go.
Watch her concede the election to someone who is not nearly as qualified as her, but someone whom millions of people voted for, it was like, I felt like the sentiments in that New York Times piece from Maya and Erica Green that you put up on the screen, Alicia. I felt that. Like, if they're not, if it's like America, it kind of feels like a rejection in some sense. But then also, I think about the positivity that I brought a couple blocks over. Many people did vote for her. She got 70 million, like millions of people voted for her, but it still wasn't enough. And so it makes me, and then to watch on not just our network, but others, if I'm gonna be honest, people the days after the election say, well, yeah, it's time to stop putting up women and Black people. I'm like, okay, I need a minute, but I'm happy to be here today.
So, yeah.
So you guys can clearly see the bald-headed reasoning going on here. And you guys can clearly see, well, twice, double the fun. Okay, you got the doublemint twins on the screen, bold and bolder. Here's the thing. I don't know what, the lady on the end does. Honest and truly, I don't even know her name. All right. Now, usually I know everybody's name. I don't know her name because she barely talks. She just does what she's doing now. I digress. However, this is the reason why they're, failing at what they do, right? They're failing because they're not talking about the news. They're just giving their opinions. And there's nothing wrong with giving opinions, but you have to give the factual news. Now, you can say you don't like what's going on. You can say you don't, like what's happening, all that good stuff. But the problem is they're only doing their opinions. So with that being said, that's the reason why they're failing. Okay. So I thought I'd give you that little bit of update because that was some good news for me because I love to see MSNBC 13 fail. Okay. Normally I don't like downfalls, but by golly, I can't wait. Like, they just need to do away with the whole network. So now in other news, okay, in other updates, I want to get into another one of my shots that I have constantly been on. And that is the update for Tory Lanez. Okay. Now, you guys, you watch me on multiple channels. You watch me on my channel. I have been on Bigfoot's neck. Okay. Her name shall remain nameless. You know who I'm talking about, size 12. All right. I have been on her neck because this case is not only in pop culture, it also sets, a lot of case law, especially when it comes to California and how they're going to be dealing with DNA. So I have been so invested in this. But you guys, I want to get into this because there is new video out right now. Okay. And frankly, it's not new, but it's new because they didn't allow it in court. Now, you guys, I told you all the time that I read the transcripts. So what I am hearing on this camera, I read in the transcripts. Most people did not read the transcripts. And this gentleman here, Sean Kelly, whose house they were in front of, whose house has the Ring camera, who the police talked to multiple times, who called the police, who was the person that initiated the 911 call. He said over and over again that it was the girl. It's dark, but I see the girl doing everything. Okay. The girl being the short girl being, we know who. Okay. Not Bigfoot. So I want you guys to see this video and then let me know what you guys think in the chat and in the comments below. All right. Here we go.
Wait. No, it didn't. No?
They shot out of the car?
Well, the windows were open, that's why it sounded like either way. Yeah, I didn't know they were on my side. The girl opened the door, two girls fighting, and then they shot. Okay. She got out of the car and crawled over. Wait. No, it didn't. No?
They shot out of the car?
Well, the windows were open, that's why it sounded like either way. Yeah, I didn't know they were on my side. The girl opened the door, two girls fighting, and then they shot. Okay. She got out of the car and crawled over.
So I don't know if you guys can hear it too good, but I'm going to tell you what Sean Kelly said. He said 2 girls were fighting. Now, both Kelsey and Bigfoot said that, Kelsey said that they bumped, and Bigfoot said that they didn't even touch. They didn't fight. There was nothing going on. So, of course, that was a lie. And Kelsey, she just sabotaged the whole thing. However, she admitted to something. Okay. So, with that being said, that's correct. What the gentleman is saying is correct. All right. They did fight, which is why, if you go back and look at old pictures, Kelsey has a big patch missing in her hair. Okay. I wonder why. That's what happens when you fight, right? Especially when you got somebody that's 10 foot, 10 times taller than you. Yeah, they probably can grab the top of your head. So, with that being said, that is what Sean Kelly said. Now, if we go to this next one here, this is so you can hear Sean Kelly up close in what he said. Here we go.
Then the gun, then the girl shoots it. So the driver's door's open.
You're seeing the girl shoot?
Can I help you? I think, is it this house?
Yes, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
So you see the girl doing the shooting?
I see what appears to be the girl standing here and shooting into the car. That's what it looked like to me. But it was dark and I'm above, so, but then the guy gets out again from the back. Then.
So who's the guy in the back? We already know the placement in the car. Okay. Bigfoot's in the front. All right. Kelsey is in the back. And so is TORY, because the other guy is driving. And there you go. Okay. He's in his house. He sees it from the balcony. All right. There it is again. So here it is. At the end of the day, they may have already submitted this evidence and other evidence that will come out later. But here's the thing about it. Everybody knows that she's lying. Everybody knows this already. So I don't even know why we're sitting here acting like we don't know that she's lying. Okay. There's no way. I keep telling you guys, he's 4 foot 10, 11. I'm 4 foot 10, 11. If you want to practice what Bigfoot says about it, just practice with me. There's no way you're going to go over a door and shoot and say, dance, bitch, dance. And yeah, and be accurate at that. Please. Over a Navigator truck, please. No, ma'am. She's lying. However, I just wanted to bring you that tad bit of update because I saw that information and I'm just like, I really do need Tory Lanez and his legal staff to really get on this. And I need them to also bring up the fact that his prior attorney worked for Rock Nation. Like, I don't understand why they didn't bring that up. Yeah. I see you guys talking in the chat. Yeah. So I don't understand why they're not bringing this up. Why not bring it up? Why not, show that they're, some type of, I'm not a legal scholar, but there's got to be some type of, case law that they can go to, like that says that you can't, work for both teams. I don't know. But something about, his legal team just gets me, he needs a better legal team. I don't know. Maybe he needs NBA Young Boys team. Maybe he needs Young Thugs team. I don't know. He needs somebody because it's too much evidence to me to just leave on the table. Where's the bullets? Nobody found the bullets yet? Nothing? Okay, cool. So you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you guys think about that. All right. And then let's move on to our last shot here. I wanted to update you guys on South Africa. Okay, South Africa. And what you know, the gentleman in South Africa that was singing the song, "Ooh, shoot the farmer, kill the boy," all that good stuff. Yeah, I'm not even going to attempt it. But yeah, that gentleman there who was singing the song about the farmer, all right, in that big crowd that he had, he decided to go ahead and respond to Donald Trump talking to the South African president at the White House. I want you guys to really see this because he had some choice words, and you know, I could understand him having choice words for Donald Trump, but he had some choice words for the South African president and what he thought about him. All right, so I want you guys to see this. Here we go.
He left here. Ariana, he won't be pulled. The only organization that is hated by imperialists is the EFF. I will never be intimidated by America. I will never be intimidated by Donald Trump. They were speaking about me in that meeting at White House. If they were not gossiping about me, they should have called me into that meeting. I would have answered everything that Donald Trump wanted from us. Banjaba ba se ba ka nna batho ba baholo ka dikhoneng ba tšea transport ba ya ko America ba yo bua ka nna selege. If they are not scared of me, call me into that meeting. That nonsense that Trump did in America, he will never do that nonsense in my presence because I will confront him here and there with the facts. Ramaphosa could not present the facts in front of Donald Trump. You've got a coward president. He left here. Ariana, he won't be bullied. When he arrived there, he was shaking. Atatazela, Achaba Donald Trump, another president scared of another president.
Hey, my man went off. Okay, so he basically said that Donald Trump, Donald Trump was asking the South African president, well, what about this? What about that? What about that? Because he didn't, quote unquote, have the facts. Okay. And so he said when he, you know, when he went to present these things, that Donald Trump would have gotten the facts from him because the South African president did not present the facts. And he said that the South African president is a coward. He said that the South African president is scared of Donald Trump. And he said all this rigmarole when he was in South Africa about what he was going to say to Donald Trump. But then when he gets to America, he's shaking. Like, you can't make this stuff up. This is what the leaders of South Africa are talking about. You know, so I thought that was very, very, very interesting. Okay. Because this tells me that he's watching, because I remember when I reported on this, that South African president said that this gentleman wasn't a threat, that he's been kicked out, and you know that the videos were old. And the man is sitting here saying, y'all are gossiping about me. Why you didn't call me up? Because I'm very much so out here. Okay. That's essentially what he's saying. All right. And he's in another political party, but he's very much politically active. So the South African president is pretty much lying. Okay. And so that was one thing. But another thing that the South African president brought up was the fact that the kill the farmer, kill the boy, however the song goes, he said that this man wasn't a threat. And he said that they were not taking land. And if they did take the land, they compensated them for it. Well, my man right here, Mr. Julius, okay, his name is Julius. He said that they're lying because they're taking land. They're taking it back for their ancestors, and they're not giving no compensation. Okay. Now, I'm showing this to not sway you, whatever side you're on. I'm showing this to tell you the facts. Okay. Because there's a lot of debate about what's going on. And this gentleman here is telling you that it has definitely happened. So I want you guys to see what Mr. Julius here had to say. There we go.
South Africa and impose sanctions on South Africa for adopting legislation that permits the expropriation of land without compensation and implementing policies that addresses historical race-based inequalities in our country. The statement by Donald Trump is offensive and undermines our sovereignty and is a reminder that our reliance on foreign aid and foreign direct investment surrenders us to the will of imperialists who use money to dictate the economic and policy direction of Africa. We want to make it categorically clear to the President of the USA that we are going to expropriate land without compensation and pursue legislative measures to do so, and no threat will stop us. This misinterpretation of the Expropriation Act, which is a mild and cosmetic intervention, is an assessment of a measure that is going to be pursued through the amendment of our Constitution as South Africans, and there is nothing we can do to undermine our independence. The EFF reiterates its position that we must build state capacity, build a strong agricultural and industrial nation which will not depend on the West.
And there you have it. Okay. So you guys, you let me know what you think about all of this, but I'm going to tell you right now, this gentleman is not playing games with him. Okay. He's essentially saying that we don't have to depend on the West. We don't care about their aid. Like, we don't care about any of that. All right. And we essentially just want our land back. And we're going to take it. We're not compensating anybody for it. So don't ask us about it. Okay. That's what we're doing. And the South African president, when he was here, said the exact opposite. So, you know, it's very funny to me. It's very funny to me that that was the case, you know, because the South African president said a lot. And I'm following this story because this gentleman right here, he's actually telling, you know, what's going on. Whether or not, you know, you agree with him politically, he's actually telling what's going on. That South African president, I don't know what he's doing. I really don't know what he's doing. Right. And so, you know, I hope Donald Trump, and I'm sure he is, and I'm sure that's why he brought him there, because he knew he was, you know what I mean? But I just hope Donald Trump has people in his corner, because this gentleman right here, he's very much active. He's very much active. So you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you think about Mr. Julius here, because Julius is not playing. Julius is like, look, I don't need none of that foreign aid, that U.S. aid, all that. Nah, I want our land, and I'm going to take it, and I'm not compensating anybody. So you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you think about that. And also get down in the comments and let me know what you thought about MSDNC and those low ratings, even after they kicked off Joyless Reed. And then let me know what you thought about the Tory Lanez update, which is essentially what was in the transcript, but for some reason wasn't allowed in court. I have absolutely no idea why, but it wasn't allowed. So you guys get down in the comments and in the chat and let me know what you guys think about it. All right. And thank you to everybody who's pulled up while we were doing shots. All right. Thank you, loud and clear. Hey, Shadow, what's going on? All right. Who else pulled up? I saw some other people. Hey, Andrea. Hey, Eric. What is it? Water. Simple. That is hilarious. Oh my gosh. What's up? What's up? What's up, Ian? Or is that Ian? Yeah, that might be Ian. My bad. But you guys go down in the comments. Let me read these super chats really quick. Here we go. Hey, 1999 from Molly. What's going on? Thank you, Molly. Hope you were able to get some rest. No, girl, look at me. Look at me. And I'm streaming tonight with Anton. Look at me. I'm going to need all the C4. You know what you guys can do? You guys can send me C4s, okay? I'm going to have a C4 membership. You guys can send me C4s. You guys can put it to the C4 fund. Like, I really, yeah, I be doing so much. Like, I get like 4 hours of sleep, but I'm going off of nothing, like off of nothing. So, no, Molly, I didn't get any sleep, but thank you, honey bun. I appreciate it. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you. And I want to give a shout out to the Cash App super chat. Give me 1 second. I want to give a shout out to Mike That Dude. Mike That Dude, thank you so much for the support on Cash App. I appreciate it. I usually forget, but I didn't forget this time. So thank you so much. All right, you guys. So let's go on and move into our main talking points of the day. All right. Oh, Lordy, Lordy, Lordy. Dems can't do right. Dems decide they are going to spend $20 million on how to get men back. Okay. It's like women going out and spending money with what's her name? Dr. Bryant on how to get a man. Okay. It's the same thing. Especially if you spend 20 million on it. 20 million on how to get a man back. I could tell you how you can get men back on a Democratic plantation. Never. Y'all are gonna have to act like you never did none of this stuff you did. You know how like you act like you never did slavery? You're gonna have to act like you never did none of this feminist stuff. You never aligned with all this trans stuff and this athlete stuff and putting the kids over here and letting everybody in through the border, all of that stuff. Yeah, you're gonna have to do that. That's the only way you can men back. Okay. You're gonna have to act like you like drinking a beer and watching UFC. You're gonna have to act like it. You're gonna have to report on that. Because I don't see how this whack party gets people back. Like, I don't see it. I really don't. But I could be wrong. So you guys let me know. All right. So I want to get into the Democratic Party and their multiple ways they're trying to get men back onto the plantation. We're going to do MSDNC 13 first, and then we'll go over to the right side. All right. Let's hear what they have to say. Here we go.
Yeah, good questions. One, let me save the folks from the Times and all the other great, print outlets some time. If you dig in on what Democrats are researching right now, you're going to find a lot of silly stuff. You're going to find people asking a lot of questions, people asking about syntax and do I drop the G from this word and this and that? And it's going to be a lot of that. So let me just warn everybody, that process is going to be very obnoxious for this 40-something. I would also say, we're really talking about young men, right? Young men who Democrats have not figured out a consistent pitch for how to get in front of. And I think it starts with authenticity. Yeah, good question.
Well, he has that part right. It definitely starts with authenticity. It definitely does. However, the Democrats can't be authentic. Okay. You have men like Cory Booker and, Walmart Barack, Temu Barack, aka Hakeem Jeffries, down there singing songs sitting on the dock of the bay on the Capitol Hill steps. That's what you have. Okay. Singing Jebediah, Jebediah. I don't know what he was saying, but that's what the guy was saying. And then, they have, I can't even sing another song. I'm not even going to try. Yeah, it's too much. However, that's what they're doing. They're singing songs like men don't want to hear none of that. Men want to see policies. Men want to know how you're going to get them back to work. Men want to know what's going to get money in their pockets. Like, that's what men want to know. They don't want to hear none of this other stuff. They don't want to hear it. And it seems like that's what the Democratic Party is interested in. I don't understand. However, I want to go ahead into Fox's take on it. Okay. Now, I did the left. Let's hear the right.
What I love about this is they really genuinely can't figure out why young men voted for Donald Trump. And I can tell you why. They wanted somebody who was a champion. They wanted somebody who was a warrior. And I just interviewed someone on Memorial Day. Just yesterday, I had a veteran on, and he told me, you know what? When Donald Trump stood up in the iconic moment when he said, fight, 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 he said it was a moment when veterans and service members looked at him and realized that there are guys you walk into the field with, and some of them are really tough and they panic in that moment. He said that is the heart of a true warrior, because you can't prepare for it. You can't be ready for it. You don't know how your body is going to react in that moment. But he stood up as a warrior, looked at the crowd and said, we're going to keep going. And I think that was a moment when young men said, yeah, I want to be on that team. I want to be on the team that keeps fighting, even when it's tough. And that's what Democrats just can't get. What I love about this is they
No, because Democrats' version of fighting would be Ratchet Crockett, aka Jasmine. Okay. Democrats' version of fighting would be fighting for illegal immigrants. Okay. You know how the illegal immigrants go down to, I'm sorry, you know how the Congress people go down to El Salvador. All right. They go down to El Salvador on I'm sorry, on Memorial Day. They go down to El Salvador on Memorial Day, when they should be, at Arlington Cemetery somewhere, or, maybe at the VA that they like to blame on Donald Trump for everything that may be going wrong, when I could clearly remember, I live in DC. I clearly remember the VA scandal under Barack Hussein Obama, but that's just me. Okay. But you have things that you could be doing, but you don't do that. You go down to El Salvador trying to tell them what to do with their nationals, talking about it's your constituents. Yeah, that's why. That's why men of all races don't fool with the Democratic Party, because you're wasting money. You're down in El Salvador. Like, we don't pay taxes in El Salvador. I don't even know how El Salvador taxes work. Why are you down there? Okay, can I write off your flight? Can I write off you being down in El Salvador? I can't. I'm sure you can. And most people on Capitol Hill don't pay taxes. That's just a tidbit for y'all. They don't pay taxes. So, like, what are we doing? This is the reason why you guys are not going to get the Democratic Party back. And then you have people leading the party like David Hogg, okay, who's extra progressive, okay? He's a young guy. He's a young white guy, okay? Only time they like white men is when they are extra progressive. Other than that, white men are, the devil. They are, all about white supremacy. No, all that good stuff. This is what the Democratic Party says. This is what they say. But when the white men are on their side, they're great. Tim Walz is white. I don't know about high testosterone, but he's male, nevertheless. But this is the Democrats' way of wasting money. 20 million. They always want to study some ish. They always want to study. You remember bald-headed Ayanna Priestley? Like, she studying. We're going to study, the effects of slavery. Ma'am, y'all going to study it to depth. They studied it in California. Kamala studied it. Everybody studied it. You know how to pay it. You either pay it out or you don't. I don't really care. However, they always want to waste money studying. Why? Why do you think they want to do that? Because they want to waste time. And if they really wanted to do reparations, because I thought about this, if they really wanted to do reparations, you guys, they could have did it. Okay? Back when Joe Biden had the House and the Senate. Now, some people say, well, he didn't have the Senate. Yes, he did. It was 50-50, and he had Kamala up there as a tiebreaker. And she broke the tie plenty of times for stuff they wanted to do. If they really wanted to do reparations, they could have did it then. And Kamala could have said that she could have got her black card, because she's the black, not black lady. She could have got her black card then. She would have got all the votes. Why not do it then? Because they're not interested in doing it. They're not going to do it. They just grandstand to get votes. All right. And the only reason bald-headed Ayanna Priestley and Congresswoman Lee's daughter even brought it back up is because they need to get everybody on board. They need the 92% to get their men to stroll to the polls. Okay. Shout out to my girl Molly. They need to get them to stroll to the poll. All right. But we've been seeing a trend. Black men, Hispanic men, okay, Latino men, everybody. White men are definitely gone. Like they're gone. So they're trying to get everybody back on track, and they can't. They can't do it, and they can't seem to figure out why. They're like, they need a Joe Rogan. Y'all had a Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is or was very liberal. Okay, so y'all already had this. So what are we doing? I'll tell you what we're doing. We're grandstanding. You just want the votes. That's why they were bringing in a new batch of people. Okay. According to Ratchet Crockett, that's how you do it. According to Hillary Clinton, that's how you do it. That's how you replenish. That's how you do it. You do it with the illegals. That's how you do it. Even though her husband didn't like the idea of the illegals, meaning Bill Clinton, you know, he's a top deporter. You know, he came up with IRA. He's the reason why the immigration is jacked up like it is now. But at the end of the day, everybody over there at the Democratic side right now is definitely out of their damn mind. Like they've gone mad. Or as my homie Antar would say, they're definitely room 9, right in the middle. Right in the middle. They're just I don't understand it. Obtuse for no reason. You gotta love it. But I could be wrong. So you guys get down in the comments, like, comment, and subscribe. And share your thoughts. Let me know what you think about the Democratic Party spending $20 million of your dollars, because it's not their dollars. They'll tell you, oh, it's friends for Bernie. Bernie ain't got that many friends, child. Not on this side, anyway. All right, so let's move on. You guys, the Democratic Party, child. I just can't. I can't. But we shall. All right, so I want to read this super chat here. And thank you, your car. I appreciate you. 100 for the for all the hard work you do and the C4 fund. Look, the C4 fund. Let me pitch it to you. The C4 fund is definitely worthwhile. I'm able to stay up all night. I'm able to provide great content. I'm able to be on 4 different platforms in one day, all through the C4 fund. You can support right now. I'm clouded. Thank you so much, Yakar. I appreciate it. I appreciate the $100 super chat. And thank you to Molly. And thank you, Mike, that dude on Cash App. I appreciate all of you. But yeah, I definitely need it. Okay, because nothing else works. I assure you it doesn't. Nothing. All right, you guys. So let's go ahead and move on to our next story here. Trump Gaza. Okay. This whole Gaza thing, I cannot wait for it to be over. One, because I'm tired of it being a talking point for the left, as if they even actually care, because one moment they're pro-Israel. You know, you remember Gamlin and was pro-Israel and didn't mind giving money for bombs and things like that. And now they're pro-Palestine because their base is very pro-Palestine. So they have to be pro-Palestine. Like this is the reason why they're losing people. They don't stand on anything, whether or not someone agrees with it. At least they know where you stand. All right. The Republicans, you know where they stand, whether you like them or not, you know where they stand. However, with the Democrats, they blow with every gust. Okay. Every burst of air that comes out, they blow. Not even with the wind. Okay, the wind is not enough. They need a gust. If they got a burst of air from your tire, from your exhaust pipe, whatever, okay, your air conditioner, whatever they can get a flow on, okay, they're gonna ride just so they can get people back on their side. So I want to get into this because it is a contentious point, and I feel for everybody over there in that region because you got heads of state playing with people's lives, all right, and a lot of those people in Gaza are children, and you guys know how I feel about babies. I can care less about whatever else, but babies, I like. Mm-mm. I don't play about. Just like I didn't play with Kamala and them about the 300K children lost, I'm not going to play with the Middle East about children starving. So I was so excited to hear about this with Donald Trump. I want you guys to see what the press secretary had to say, okay? And then we'll come back. Here we go.
Has this administration's been briefed about the incident that happened in Gaza on Tuesday during the rollout of the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation distribution of aid to Palestinians there? And should there be a ceasefire, will this administration continue to rely on this foundation for the distribution of aid to civilians?
Are you referring what incident are you referring to?
Tuesday,
When the aid was rolled out to Gaza for the first time in many months, and meals and food was given to hungry people, thanks to President Trump. Yes, we were briefed on that plan. The president was the reason that aid went into Gaza, and he got the Israelis to support that plan. And I would add that the previous administration rejected such a plan to ensure that these starving and devastated people in the Gaza Strip were given humanitarian aid and assistance. And it was the previous administration that tried to build this pier, if you all remember it. It was brought to my attention this morning, and I thought that's a good point. Why don't I bring that up? Because there's been so much criticism. In fact, it was on the front page of a newspaper this morning about the criticism for this president having a humanitarian heart and giving people badly needed food and supplies. Nobody wanted to talk about how the previous administration failed in that endeavor. They built this pier that cost $230 million. It lasted about 20 days, and more than 60 U.S. service members were injured, as a part of this floating aid pier that did nothing for the people of Gaza. The president is opening up his humanitarian heart to get aid into the region while his team simultaneously negotiates a ceasefire and the return of all hostages. We are moving the ball forward in a positive direction for all people. The president wants to see peace for all people.
I know you heard that. Okay. She was talking fast. But she's absolutely correct. The media, they try to spin everything because the people in Gaza, because they haven't been getting any food and water and aid, yes, they were rushing, they were, pulling things. And I understand, because they were trying to be the first ones in line. And I get all of that. Those people were starving, right? I understand. And so they're trying to use that to say, well, it was a mess. And people are starving, okay? They haven't gotten any food. Yeah, they're going to bum rush it. Like, it just is what it is, all right? But I don't even know what the pier that she's talking about. What did they do with the pier? They probably bombed the pier. It's absolutely asinine what they give our money away to. It probably didn't even go to the pier. The pier probably went up. It was concrete, and then poof, they blew it up, and the rest of the money went to everybody else. Like, this is what it sounds like to me, like a waste of money. And they had food that they could have sent. Nobody over here is eating it. Okay? You couldn't pay. You could pay these people, even the ones that are, on food stamps. You couldn't pay them to eat that, So what are we doing with the food? What are we doing with the food? It's crazy to me that we have such an incompetent government, but yet when you talk about dismantling some of it, they have a problem with it. What for? Why do you have a problem with dismantling the government? One that doesn't function very well. Sounds like you're getting stuff from it. Sounds like you're getting money from it. So you just want to keep funneling through it. But we'll get there. So I want to get into what Donald Trump said on the airplane about getting food to Gaza. Okay, what he said on Air Force One. Here we go.
Gaza came up, and I said, gotta be good to Gaza. Those people are suffering. We got to be good to Gaza. We're going to take care of that. There's a very big need for medicine, food and medicine, and we're taking care of it.
In terms of like opening up more access points or
Very hard.
pushing the Israelis
We are
to open up more access
very
points?
hard to get food and medicine into Gaza.
How did the Prime Minister respond to that?
Well, felt well about it. When Gaza came up, and I said,
I love that, whether or not you're on the side of, Palestine, Israel, whatever, when you can understand that babies, women, they're over there starving while the heads of state do whatever. Okay. It it just blows my mind, right? That people would just let food sit. The last administration was a travesty. And this is why we're having this live today. Because yeah, the Autopen is wild. But I was happy to hear Trump say all of that. Okay. And then last but not least, I want you guys to see how the people on the ground responded. Okay. I want you guys to see this. How they responded to getting the food and the aid, and what the stupid media, your mainstream liberal media, doesn't want to report. Here we go. There we go.
شكرا للرئاسة الأمريكية وشكرا للرئيس ترامب على حل الأزمة الإنسانية في غزة، وإن شاء الله تظل مستمرة على هذا الحال. هم الكراتين، هي الناس ماشية حمل الكراتين. شكرا للرئيس ترامب، شكرا.
So if you guys couldn't hear, he's saying, thank you, President Trump. And then I want to get into this one here.
Trump, Netanyahu, كله أمريكا. Trump.
So as you guys can see, these are videos from the ground. All right. They're in rubble. They're in the middle of nothing. Okay. And these people are saying thank you. All right. While everybody else wants to play politics, you may not like, I butchered this man's name. You may not like the Prime Minister of Israel, Netanyahu. I'm gonna get it one day. I'm gonna get it. BB, you may not like him, okay? And you may not like Donald Trump. You may not like Kamala and Joe. I'm sure you don't. However, putting all those people aside, there are people in the middle, okay? And I am just ecstatic that people that have nothing to do with this nonsense, meaning nothing to do with any, HAMAS people, because it triggers YouTube for some reason. Those people that have nothing to do with those, and have nothing to do with BB's people. All right. You have nothing to do with that. They have nothing to do with what's going on in the conflict. They're just caught in the middle, as always, just like Americans have been caught in the middle of different wars. Like, You have to feed the people. You have to give aid to people. You can't let people starve. And I'm so glad that Donald Trump was able to provide that. So I just wanted to show you guys Trump's Gaza, because for some reason, the mainstream media can talk about everything else. They're even asking about, well, it was so botched. It was this, it was that, because you saw, people just getting boxes and things like that. But people are hungry. If I haven't eaten in days, weeks, I don't even know how long these babies have been starving, and these women and these men. However, if I haven't eaten in a long time, yeah, if I see a truck, I'm running. I'm running, and whatever I can get, I'm gonna get. So that has nothing to do with Donald Trump, but of course they're gonna make it. So you guys, let me know what you think about Trump's Gaza, and I think Donald Trump having control over that will stop a lot of things that's going on. Because if you ask me, I think had Donald Trump not did that, nobody would have did anything. And don't fall for the propaganda that China went over there and was doing all this nice humanitarian stuff. Please. Okay? Please. China won't even give Africa what they're supposed to do. They're just over there just taking stuff too. But nobody will call that out because they love to lift up everybody but Trump, okay? They'll lift up China before they lift up Donald Trump. Just because it's Donald Trump. They love to hate America. I never understood it. But you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you think about that, okay? Let me go ahead to the super chats. Thank you so much. Thank you, Quick Fix, for the $9.99. Did you see Andrew Schultz's interview with Bernie? Yes, I did. I did. What did you think about it? Chat, what did you guys think about it? What did you think about Bernie's interview? I did. I saw it. I've been debating if I want to do a video on it or not. Thank you so much, Quick Fix, for the super chat. Yeah. I saw it and it just confirmed what I thought. He's a gump. Okay. If anybody's a sellout, that's him. You're supposed to have this whole progressive movement, all of these people believe in you, and you let the Democratic Party push you around. You literally let the Democratic Party tell you what to do. Okay. The Democratic Party did to Bernie essentially what they did to Joe. Pushed him right on out. That's literally what they did to Joe. Joe Biden was, president. And then when they felt like he wasn't supposed to be president, they, got him up out of there. Now, Bernie Sanders didn't get pushed out of his spot, but had he fought back when he knew that he had won, he definitely would have been pushed out. And then why doesn't the left call out? I want to get into this real quick. Why doesn't the left call out Bernie Sanders? Because he keeps saying that he would have won, he won, all this stuff. Nobody tells that old man to be quiet. Nobody tells Colonel Sanders that he's wrong, that he's a conspiracy theorist. Like, nobody says that to him. You know why? Because he's probably right. He probably would have beat all those Democrats. He's probably right. But we'll never know, because just like they cheated Donald Trump in 2020, they cheated Bernie Sanders right up out of there. Just like they pushed out Joe Biden, they pushed him up out of there. So yeah, I saw it. I saw the interview with Schultz, and I was just like, nah, because at the end of the day, he didn't tell me nothing I didn't already know. Okay. But then he gets deranged and he goes right back to talking about Donald Trump when the man takes money from Pharma, when the man takes money from APAC, just like Pocahontas does. All of them do. Okay. The Democratic Party, especially Wall Street Pelosi, they're all connected at the end of the day. Okay. They're all well funded. Act Blue, all of that. So that's my thoughts on that whole interview. But thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. All right. So I want to get into our main point of the night. Who, was, is, who, what, why, and more why. Who is the Autopen? What is the Autopen? Like what was happening? Okay. We already know from Jake Tapper, but not really from Jake Tapper because we've been saying this forever, meaning the conservative side, the Republicans, the independents, like everyone who actually has a brain has been saying that Joe Biden was not there, or as Jasmine Crockett likes to say, we were concerned with his mental acuity. Okay. We were concerned with that. All right. Your leader said she was concerned with Donald Trump's mental acuity, but she wasn't concerned with Joe Biden's mental acuity. She never questioned Joe Biden's mental acuity. But yet, he had an auto pen. You guys, you can't make it up. So, what I want to get into first, I want to get into what sets all of this off. Okay. I want to get into Liz, okay, Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren, when she made that little involuntary laugh. Excuse me, guys. When she made that little involuntary laugh about Biden, being sharp, being as sharp as her, right? Because it's going to lead us down a little rabbit hole. So here we go.
Do you regret saying that President Biden had a mental acuity? He had a sharpness to him. You said that up until July of last year.
I said what I believe to be true.
And you think he was as sharp as you?
I said I had not seen decline. And I hadn't at that point.
You did not see any decline from 2024 Joe Biden to 2021 Joe Biden?
Not when I said that. The thing is, he was sharp. He was on his feet. I saw him live event. I had meetings with him a couple of times.
Senator, on his feet
up the steps
is not praise. He can speak in sentences is not praise.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Do you regret saying that President?
And he could walk in sand, kind of. Yeah. All right. He even, after watching a video, said, "Where's Jackie?" After watching a video about remembering Jackie, which means she's no longer here. You can't make it up. Elizabeth Warren sat there and just laughed through this whole interview. Okay. So the reason why I wanted to even bring that up is because David Sachs, the crypto czar, decided that, he was going to tell you guys who the Autopen was. And he was talking with Jesse Waters. You guys go ahead and see this.
This is the financial system of the future, Jesse, and we have to encourage it. What the Biden administration was doing, and let's face it, it wasn't Biden. Elizabeth Warren controlled the Autopen during that administration. She, for some reason, has this pathological hatred of the crypto community. She wants to drive this community offshore. She doesn't want it happening in the United States. That's the wrong policy for the United States. We want all the innovation happening here. This is a financial system of the future. It's cheaper. It's more efficient. We want it happening here, Jesse, and I think people are thrilled that President Trump is making that possible. This is the financial system of the future, Jesse.
So, do you guys believe that Pocahontas, aka Elizabeth Warren, was the Autopen? Okay. My vote is on Nancy, but I'll take Pocahontas as a second. Okay. Because she's one of the elders as well that makes things shake and move with the Democratic Party. She makes a lot of things move, especially in California, where, a lot of money, a lot of liberals are. So you guys, what do you think about it? You think it was Pocahontas? Yeah, I truly, honestly believe that it probably was one of the two, Nancy or Pocahontas, one of the two. However, one of my favorites, okay, David Hogg. I don't know how this happened, but he got got by Project Veritas. Okay, Project Veritas was talking. One of the journalists from Project Veritas was talking to David Hogg. And David Hogg got caught on a hidden camera. Okay. And on this hidden camera, David Hogg got caught talking about what he thought was the issue with the Biden administration and who it was. Okay. We just saw the crypto czar say that he thinks it was Elizabeth Warren. Well, let's hear what David Hogg, the head of the DNC, who the Democrats absolutely hate because he wants to get the old fogies out. He wants to get all the old Democrats out. Let's see what he thought. And let's see what he said on this hidden camera video. Here we go.
Question for me is like, how corrupt is the DNC if so many people knew, or few people knew about Biden, well, the president of the United States?
I mean, I think the fact of the matter is the DNC is always going to be like a campaign arm of the president, ultimately. The bigger issue was like the inner circle that was around Biden. That's it.
And I can't stress to you enough.
Like Joe Biden's chief of staff, like had an enormous amount of power.
Joe Biden?
Joe Biden's chief of staff.
That was like an open secret at the level. Like, I would avoid him. Like, he was scary.
What was his name?
Anthony Trump.
I've never seen him.
Exactly.
What do you mean?
He's like a shadowy, like, Wizard of Oz type figure. That's what made him so, like, I knew how he looked, but I'm like, the general public wouldn't know how this man looked. But he wielded an enormous amount of power, and I can't stress to you how much power he had in the White House.
So what do you guys think about that? Do you think it was his staff? I think it was every damn body. Everybody had access to it. Everybody went in there and was just like, what, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car. Yeah, everybody did something. Okay. At this point, I'm just gonna put it on everybody. Everybody gets a turn. Okay. This is like an OnlyFans girl. Everybody got a turn. Here, you have it one day, you have it one day, you have it one day. What you need? You need money for Somalia? Gotcha. Yeah. Honestly, truly, that's what happened. Child, we missed it. Yeah, y'all could have been there getting whatever y'all need. Just y'all should have signed up for them DEI programs. Y'all would have been right at that White House because they would have put y'all there because you'd have just been like, I'm Black, and this is the reason why you should hire me. Just like Ratchet Crockett says, why should I hire you? Because I'm Black. Okay. Facts. What's going on, Weezy? What's going on, Scoop? What's going on, Tyrone? Yeah. Just hire me because I'm Black. And then you get access to the Autopen. And then you just start writing. Boom. That's how it works. Okay. So you guys let me know what you think about that. All right. But I definitely believe it. So with all that being said, we can speculate, we can say this, that, and the third, but I wanted to know exactly what's going to come of all this. Okay. Whether it's the staffers and the aides, or whether it's, Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren, Nancy, anybody, or Jill, the non-doctor, his wife, because she sat in on a lot of cabinet meetings that she shouldn't have sat in on. And nobody seems to have a problem with that, but they have a problem with Elon. I never understood that. Never did. But yeah, I want to know what's going to happen to them. Well, apparently the GOP has already started the ball rolling. The GOP is saying that they are going to target certain individuals and subpoena them. So I want you guys to see this Fox News report on subpoenas for these individuals and who it might be, and actually who's, who needs to come do interview subpoenas with the oversight committee. And that's going to be so fun because who sits on the oversight committee? Ratchet Crockett. I want to see if she's going to be doing all of this and all of that and all of this and all of that when she's talking to Democrats. Okay, watch.
For Joe Biden and several key staffers. They may all face subpoenas if they do not comply by tomorrow. So now there's a deadline to this. So there's a ramp up now by Republicans. In a social media post, President Trump wrote, "Whoever had control of the Autopen is looking to be a bigger and bigger scandal by the moment." Aisha Hasni reporting in Washington. Aisha.
Hey, good morning to you, Harris. So that's right. Oversight Committee Chairman Comer tells me that his committee is ready to drop those subpoenas within minutes if former President Biden's doctor and those 4 other staffers do not respond to his request for an interview by tomorrow's deadline. Comer is also telling me that he's willing to expand those summons to include former First Lady Jill Biden, their son, Hunter Biden, and former Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, if that is where the committee's investigation leads them.
Obviously, we're interested in the Jean-Pierre. We're interested in people like Ian Sams. We're also interested in Jill Biden and Hunter Biden. So, but first step is bring these lower level employees in. We believe these employees that most people have never heard of had a huge amount of influence in the use of the Autopen.
So several folks from Biden's Oval Office inner circle have stayed quiet amid the cover-up allegations, but they're still active out there. Ron Klain is now Airbnb's chief legal officer. Anita Dunn now works with the super PAC Future Forward. Mike Donnellan is a Harvard fellow, and Bob Bauer teaches at NYU Law. And we're told that don't rule these people out as well. They could also be interviewed. If the committee does find any wrongdoing in their investigation, Harris, and Chairman Comer says that he would send criminal referrals to AG Pam Bondi. So stay tuned. Harris.
We will. Aisha, thank you. Jason Chaffetz, now Fox News contributor, former Utah congressman, who also chaired the House Oversight Committee, which is leading this effort now. This feels like it's right on time. Keep the press on. Your take.
Yeah, Chairman Comer is doing this the right way. You got to bring in the underlying employees. You start getting them on the record under oath, telling us who, how, who authorized this, who was allowed to put in it, who was in the chain of custody of these documents. It is the most powerful thing you have, the signature of the President of the United States.
Yeah.
And I want to highlight something. The pardon for the Biden family is distinctly different. I have looked at all of these, and I am telling you that looks like Joe Biden personally signed the ones for his family, but so many of these others, literally thousands of pardons and other documents appear to all be on an Autopen. So who authorized that? Comer's going to figure that out.
So that's so interesting because you would know about this device. I've been doing some research. Barack Obama reportedly used an Autopen to sign the Patriot Act extension while he was traveling in France. That was in 2021, or excuse me, 2011. And we know that it's been used by other presidents. But what you're saying is there's a way to tell the difference?
Yeah, you can look at the signatures itself, and you want to go through, and the staffers that were put up on the screen, those really are highlighted. The other thing that's different than, for instance, when I was chairman, is you have a president in Donald Trump who actually wants justice, and the one to actually enforce, if the subpoena, you're only as good as your subpoena as your ability to enforce it. The person who would be in charge of actually enforcing that subpoena would be the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, who is Jeanine Pirro. And if you think
You guys, can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me, because I see my internet going in and out. Let me know if you can hear me. Okay, cool. Good. All right. So you guys, here's the thing. And let me know if let me know if it's choppy, because it just looks crazy on my screen. But it could just be my screen. Is it going like in and out? Okay, cool. Enough of you said you can hear me. So we'll leave it at that. So here's my thing with the Autopen, okay? we've heard all of this nonsense. We've heard the Autopen, maybe this person, maybe that person, maybe the staffers. I just want the GOP to go ahead and get it done, get it over with, and let's go ahead and make sure everything is. I look fine? Okay, thank you. All right, yeah, and let's just make sure everything is okay, right? But we know it's not. So what are they going to say? They're going to say it's lawfare. They're going to say Donald Trump is abusing the DOJ. They're going to say Donald Trump is doing this, that, and the third. I mean, it's just going to be a lot of nothing. Okay. You guys, it's going to be a lot of nothing. And unfortunately for the GOP, the Democratic Party is not going to hold their people accountable because they know they were in on it. They know they were in on it. Okay. Ratchet Crockett isn't going to do all that yelling. She's going to call somebody up there and say, weren't you supposed to be, I don't know, looking out for DEI people? And so you would not have had access to go over to see this because, Black people, we don't have access. Black people don't get access to the Autopen. So you wouldn't have even had a chance to actually go over there and be at the Autopen. So why don't they talk to some of these white people and then go over here and see what they're talking about, because they keep trying to bring it back to the 92%, but the 92% is not even in office. And yeah, that's what she's going to say. Okay. Ayanna Priestley, I can at least take, Jasmine Crockett. I cannot take Ayanna Priestley. Ayanna Priestley yells at the top of her lungs. Like, she yells at the top of her lungs. I'm speaking, and you will listen, and you will let me speak. I am a Black woman, and you will let me speak. She just starts to yelling, and I can't take it. So I just hope the GOP does most of the talking and does most of the speaking, doing the Dr. Evil. Y'all are wild, Dr. Evil. Oh my God, she does need a mute button, but doesn't she sound like that? You guys will not allow me to speak. I am a Black woman. You will let me speak. Oh my gosh. What's up, y'all? What's up, Big Happy? The bayou. Yeah, you guys. So I'm just hoping that we get down to the bottom of this, because now you have proof with Jake Tapper, even though you had proof before, that Joe Biden was not in control, okay? And his mental acuity, okay, was very much in question. Thank you, loud and clear. Yeah, it was very much in question. So, Jay, you guys know that's how she sounds. That's how she sounds. At least that's what I hear. But it was very much in question. All right. And at the end of the day, here's the thing. What do we do about it as American people? We hold these people accountable. And that's what I picked the Republicans for. I'm hoping that they hold these people accountable, and that maybe even some of these, pardons might get dropped, because at the end of the day, if you're not the ones if you're not the one who's signing them, then they should be voided. Okay. If you didn't even know what was happening, just like Speaker Mike Johnson said, he didn't even know a lot of stuff was happening when he was talking to him. So if you don't know, then nothing you did should be allowed to stand. And I stand on that. Okay. So you guys, let me know what you think about Liz Warren, maybe the Autopen. Okay. Let me know what you think about David Hogg on his hidden camera saying all of the above about, White House staffers. Maybe that's another reason why he wants to get all the old fogies out, because they're doing stuff like that. They're lining their pockets. They're lining their families' pockets. Like, they're doing a lot of stuff, as if, I don't think the younger people are doing it like, AOC. AOC is like what, 36, 37. David Hogg is like 20 something. Jasmine Crockett is like 33, something like that. And we all know that AOC's district is trash. We all know that Ratchet Crockett, is making $9 million a year somehow. And I'm sure David Hogg has something in his pocket, but the old Democrats, they're different. Like they seem to be something else. Like they are deep state. So I'm sure David Hogg wants to get him up out of here. So with that being said, let's see where this goes. I'm interested. I can't wait for these subpoenas because I want to see who they subpoena. I want to see who comes up, who's the names. I want to see the lawfare. I don't care about the optics. I want to see the lawfare. Okay. Bring Tish James, everybody down. Okay. Bring Fonnie, bring Tiffany, bring everybody at the same time. Just have them line up in the hole. Okay. We taking names and kicking asses. That's what we're doing the next 2 years. Okay. Line them all up, bring them down. And that's my thoughts on the Autopen. Okay. You guys get down in the comments, like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you thought about all that. Let me know what you thought about the Autopen. Let me know what you thought about Trump Gaza. Let me know what you thought about 20 million just to figure out what men think. They think that the Democratic Party is whack and it's not going to get them anywhere in the future. Case closed. And let me know what you thought about the South Africa update. Let me know what you think about Tory Lanez's update. And let me know what you thought about MSNBC 13 failing per usual with their new lineup. Okay. Let me know what you guys think about all of these things. I appreciate you guys rolling in on a Thursday after I haven't seen you for days. Thank you for rolling in. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody that sent super chats. I appreciate everybody that's in the chat. I appreciate everybody that watches the replay afterwards because a lot of you watch the replay. And so I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody and everything. And I appreciate those on Cash App like Mike That Dude and others. I definitely appreciate it. Thank you for pulling up Christopher. Thank you, Molly. Thank you, Yakar. Thank you, Artifacts. Thank you, Junior. Thank you, Tyrone. Thank you, Scoop. Y'all are wild. Thank you, Q. Oh, Lord. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Trace. Thank you, Loud and Clear. Thank you, that Long Way Entertainment. Thank you, Long Way Entertainment. Thank you, Big Happy. Thank you, Eric Holmes. I am goofy. Okay. I am very goofy. Especially when it comes to laughing at those Democratic ladies. You will not talk to me like that. Thank you, Quick Fix. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think I said Andrea, but thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Abe the Hunter. Thank you, Junior. Thank you, Ian. Ooh, I think I got a lot of you. I can't go all the way back, but I think I got a lot of you. Thank you so much for pulling up. As always, thank you for spending the hour and a half with me. It's your girl, Mika. As always, I am doing lives Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then the rest of the days, I will be dropping content in video form. And I've been, putting out short form lately. And you guys seem to be liking that as well. So thank you so much for supporting. Thank you so much for your super thanks, as well as the super chats. I appreciate those. Thank you so much for the likes, the comments. All that helps out. All that puts me in the algorithm. Thank you so much for getting me over the 10,500 hump. Okay, like this is moving. My subscriber count is moving. So thank you so much. I do appreciate all of you. Thank you, Joseph. I appreciate it. All right. I'm catching some of y'all. Thank you, Miss Freckles. Hey. All right. And as always, I appreciate all of you. And if you want to catch me later, I will be on After Hours with my C4. Thank you to your car for the C4 fund. But I will be on After Hours later with Anton Daniels, Molly and crew, Quentin, Slimmy, maybe Carrie. But you guys, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Oh, thank you, Reese. I appreciate you. Thank you, Eric. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. I'm out. Peace.